Free vaccinations now being offered to kids ahead of the start of the new school year. Can you believe students in Georgia, they're going back to class next week? Look at that, on the 3rd. St. Johns County kids return on August 10th, and Duval County students, they head back to the classroom on August 14th. To get your student ready, the Duval County Health Department is offering free vaccinations. Joining me now is Dr. Akila Pope with the Florida Department of Health. Duval County, good morning to you. Thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate it. You know, I think that most parents know, because they're pretty good about taking their child regularly for their physicals when they're young. So do most parents know what their kindergartner, what vaccinations they need to have?
Sometimes. Most of the time we try to tell them as they come in for their physicals, their annual physicals. We try to make sure that they know that protection is what you need to do through vaccinations. So vaccination is one of the best ways that a parent can protect their infant, child, or teenager from 16 potentially harmful diseases.
So there is a whole list of those vaccinations that are needed for kindergarten. Too many probably for us to name.
Yes.
So we're going to post it on our website because we have a link to your website also to the health department. Let's look at middle school kids then, because these may be the kids who don't necessarily often go and maybe remember because they're going in for their physicals. But there's one booster basically they definitely need to know that a lot of parents aren't aware of.
Yes. So the Tdap, which covers the tetanus, diphtheria, and acellular pertussis vaccine. So we call that Tdap, and it's required for entry into 7th grade.
It's interesting. It sounds so medical, and it really is. But why is that vaccination so important?
It's very important because several diseases have been eliminated from the United States due to the immunity that we have through vaccines, tetanus, diphtheria, polio, pertussis, one of them. So when people tend to stop vaccinating, then more people get infected, and then it's more likely for us to spread diseases to others.
And I think it's important also to mention that particularly pertussis, which is commonly referred to as whooping cough, you know, if a 7th grader were to somehow catch that because they weren't immunized, and then they take it home to a younger sibling, particularly a child, an infant under the age of, you know, being able to get it, then they can get, I mean, I've heard children who have whooping cough. It is scary.
It
puts them to the hospital, and these babies can die.
Yes, that is true.
So it's very important. Let's move on to high school also. There are two in particular that you really encourage for the high school kids to get. Not necessarily required, but really important, because it's amazing. You know, high school kids, they're sharing drinks, you know, maybe doing a little kissing, you know, passing some things around.
Yes, ma'am.
So what do you suggest for high school students?
So for high school students, we suggest the meningitis vaccine as well as the human papillomavirus vaccine.
Now, there is, I don't want to say controversy, but that involves kind of a conversation, I think, that parents have to sit down and have with each other about whether or not they feel comfortable, you know, vaccinating for HPV.
Yes.
What argument would you give as to why that's important?
Well, I would say that most people tend to, bodies tend to see human papillomavirus, but it is very good. It is for cancer protection, and who doesn't want to be protected from cancer such as cervical cancer, ovarian cancer, scrotal cancers?
It's sexually transmitted.
It is sexually transmitted.
So you have to have an honest conversation about what you think your children are doing.
That is correct.
With your spouse or significant other and with the child.
That is
correct. So physicals, and I want to make sure that we mention this because this is important. There are a lot of kids who participate in sports and they need this. You're also offering physicals 2 days a week at select locations. If you could give us some information about those, because there is a fee associated with those. Free vaccinations, but there is a fee for the physicals.
Right. For the back to school physical program, we are doing every Tuesday and Thursday from 8 a.m. to 3:45 p.m. at our North Pearl Street location. Now, it is for entry into pre-K through 12th grade. unfortunately, no sports physicals will be provided that time. But you can go to the primary care physicians, like myself, at our clinics located around North and South Jacksonville.
Okay, now the $30 for the physicals,
Yes.
is that the sports physicals that you're referring to, or those are the physicals?
Just a school physical.
Just a regular school
Yes.
physical. And
Yes.
at that time, if any vaccinations are needed, those vaccinations are offered for free?
We will definitely provide those every single day.
and they need it. So here's the location for the physicals, Tuesday and Thursday, the North Pearl Street location, which is down there by UF Health, just to give you some perspective. Thank you, Doctor, for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
We also want to make sure that you're aware of the other locations. There's the North Pearl Street Monday through Friday, where you can get the vaccinations from 8 to 4. There's also a South Side location, which is on University Boulevard, again, Monday through Friday from 8 to 4, where you can get vaccinations. I know there's a lot of information, so we posted a link to the Duval County Health Department's website with a list of all the required vaccinations, including what immunizations your kindergartner before they start school. And if you know someone maybe who may find this information helpful, we'll also post this entire interview with the doctor later this morning on the morning show page of news4jax.com. Now, let's take you outside.